All right. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone back to the Jill Biden Fashion Depot. It's the happy hour show coming to you live from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Vietnam. Well, that's North Carolina, I guess.
And we're off to a blazing start.
Yeah.
We got Freddie Quotes. We got Crypto Sloth. We got Rags to Riches. We got HEXray Vision, otherwise known as the Crypto Bootcamp crew who invaded North Carolina last weekend. And they're here to tell us all about it. And I'm excited to hear it. And yeah, man, it's happy hour to everybody. Oh, and let's just, since I'm in a new area and I like to sample local beverages, we'll do a new beer Friday. So what we have here is an Ozark Lager. It is a hard work, honest beer. So let's see how this bad boy is.
A good name.
Yeah. Like their IPA is really good. It's made by the Ozark Beer Company. Any other stats I can pull out? It's rustic, traditional, and resilient. There you go.
Nice.
And it pairs well with spring storms, summer heat, crisp fall mornings, and cold winter nights.
So pretty
Sounds
much
like a
everything.
dating app.
They're going for everything. Here we go.
Dating app.
Sounds like a dating profile.
Mm,
Long walks on the beach.
I mean, it's okay.
Travel.
Like a lager, I don't know, like 3 3.25 out of 5. It's okay. It's drinkable beer. All right.
Yeah.
Now that that's out of the way.
You
How
know,
y'all doing,
Cabana-
guys?
Good, man.
Doing good.
Great. Good,
All
man.
right. So, we got like, I guess 60, 75 minutes here. So I wanted to get all you guys on because obviously you've all been on the show before, but it was cool to see what y'all were doing over in North Carolina. I don't care who would like to answer the question, but can you tell us how this idea came about, the goals of it, and pretty much how it went? And I'm going to say hello to the chat while you give us the lowdown on it.
Yeah, I think HEXray gets all the credit for this, as he's typically at the center of everything. Awesome. So let's talk about it, man.
Well, so I'm just chilling out at home one day. I'm tweeting. I don't have a stream for the day. And this guy hits me up in my DM saying, hey, when you stream next, why don't you mention this crypto bootcamp that we're putting on in North Carolina? And I was like, sure. Yeah, no problem. What's going on? I said, do you want to stream about it? And he was like, no, I don't want to be on camera. None of us want to be on camera, but we're all trying to put on this bootcamp. I was like, well, get over here. We'll stream about it. And so he came on stream with me. It was a lot of fun. And the first thing, like we were talking about in the green room, was the fact that their goal is to help 1 million people. And all of a sudden my ears perked up because it's my goal is to help 1 million people, if we can in this lifetime, figure out how to improve their lives with crypto financially. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, man, I got to come out and meet this guy. So right then I said, I plan on taking the RV out there and being out there a week ahead of time to help him try to, market it and to get to know him and his crew. And that's how it all started right there. It was just meeting him in the green room and then starting to stream with Earl from Crypto Bootcamp, which he should be in the chat, I'm guessing. If he's not, then someone should probably DM him. But that's how it all started. And then some of my friends said, hey, we want to go on this crazy trip with you. So they just jumped in the RV. We had more drivers, and
that helps a lot on long road trips. I'm just saying.
It does. And they're an amazing crew. Like they would step up and help with printing flyers. They would help with audio equipment. They just, anything that we needed done, they would just jump up and do with, just out of the goodness of their heart. An amazing group of friends that I brought out there with me. And they all really got along with the crew as well. Like they all really jived and vibed with Rags and Freddie and Sloth. It was just a really awesome group of guys when we got out there. So
Outstanding. So what's, I guess, the overall goal of it? Is just to onboard people into crypto, like get them used to like DeFi? Any specifics?
Well, I mean, they're hexagons, and they're also waiting for Pulse to come out, so they're part
Like
of our
everyone.
community, like everyone. But their goal with the boot camp was that someone could walk in not knowing anything at all about crypto and leave that day with a basic understanding of what's going on and what the next steps are to take to get involved in crypto. And so that's their goal or mission. If Earl were here, he could probably put it a little bit better than that. But I think that was their goal, and they wanted to start small and just continue to grow it in their area.
Nice. So I take it by looking at Twitter and socials and whatnot, y'all had some different experiences or different angles of it. Maybe your own personal takeaways of how it went. So I guess we can just go around the room. Freddie, man, how was the experience for you, and what'd you think of it?
It was cool, man. I was streaming with HEXray a week before, and my wife and son were going to be traveling last week, so it's kind of like bachelor mode for the week. Didn't really have much going on, and he just kind of threw it out there. Hey, man, we're going down here. We're going to be doing this thing, and you should come. And I was like, that actually sounds pretty awesome. And then found out Rags was going, and I was like, I'm 100% in. So,
Rags was a deciding factor.
I mean, it's always good to know when your friends are going to be there. It's
absolutely.
It's easier. It's more fun. HEXray and I haven't hung out as much as Rags and I have, and when I got the invite, I was going to go. If Rags wasn't going to be there or not, I was still going to go.
Yeah, I was just giving you credit.
But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun, man, and just kind of being a spectator. And I got up and spoke a little bit about my background and how to get a wallet set up and stuff like that, because there was one lady who was there early in the morning, and this is like an all-day thing, man. Like we were there at 8:30 in the morning at NC State University, and we were there until about 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock maybe. And there was one woman who I was speaking with before it all started, like just kind of like getting to know the vibe of the people who were there, and just kind of like, being friendly or whatever, just talking to her. And she was telling me about things, and she hadn't gotten into crypto and why she hadn't yet gotten into crypto. And, Rags has a really awesome program that he has set up that he went through in the morning, and everyone just kind of contributed. And it was cool to see everyone come together, literally from all over the country, and put on this event for these people. There were musicians there who were playing music at lunch, and it was just awesome, man. It was cool. Got to meet Sloth. That was awesome. Got to hang out and spend some time at the bar, and just hanging out, going out to eat dinner and food, and it was an awesome time, man. It always is. I've never had a bad experience at a Hexagon meetup.
Was the turnout like what you expected? A little less, a little more? Like, how'd that go?
A little less.
Probably
We probably
less,
could have
yeah.
had more. But I think at the peak, including us, there were probably about 20 people there, which was cool. There were probably 5 or 6 no coiners, if I had to guess.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was cool to get them set up and show them how to walk through getting a wallet. What is the blockchain? What is Bitcoin? We talked about Hex a little bit. We talked about Pulse a little bit. We talked about Texan. We talked about Hedron. Just different coins and tokens that are in the crypto space that we trust, and it was fun, man.
Cool. Sloth, before we get into the really fun stuff with some Icosa and Hedron questions and or updates, tell us your experience about what went down last weekend.
Yo, it was awesome. Once I heard HEXray was going to be in my backyard, I was immediately sold. And then, HEXray was the first stream I ever went on, and so it was the first meetup I ever got to go to as Sloth. So
nice.
I had to help him out as much as I could. And it was awesome to know that there's some people trying to put some public crypto education stuff out there in my area that I can link up with and help out any way that I can, since I'm only like 20 minutes away from Raleigh. And then obviously, hearing that Freddie and Rags were going to be there is like, icing on top. Getting to meet more Hexicans. Never a bad day to meet all these people you talk to online, in person. We all know each other fairly well on the internet, but it's different meeting them in person, shaking their hand, having a drink with them, and I think that was just an honor to be hanging out with them. And in terms of the talk, Rags had an awesome first morning, just the basic. Yeah. Where was I saying? Rags had a really good morning session of education. Freddie gave an awesome talk about, just like how to set up a MetaMask, the basics of security there. I think they laid a great foundation. I talked just a little bit about my my journey getting into crypto, into Hex, and then I answered some questions about like how to yield in crypto a little bit, just like the different kinds of yield there are, like inflation versus fee generation, how Hex is kind of like a CD, how other things are more like dividend stocks. Just like I fielded some questions there, which was really cool. And it's kind of like, more in my wheelhouse. And then I was just there, talking to people and like helping them out with any questions they had. It's really cool to talk. We spend so much time online, especially like me talking about things that are really deep down the rabbit hole of like Hex and its derivatives, and then having to take a step back from that and like going back to like the very, very basics of things, I think was a really good experience for me, just to kind of remember where everybody else is at, where I'm at, and how to bridge that gap better, IRL especially. But no, it was great.
And I guess it could be, I guess it's a balance for you, especially because there's like, you get too much into the weeds, it's almost overwhelming. Like the Hex ecosystem can be, because like, all right, you have Hex and then you have like derivative plays like a Hedron or Icosa, and it's just like, you don't want to overwhelm the audience, but you want to also tell them, it's like, hey, there's a lot going on here, more than just one or two coins.
Just give them a peek, on like what's there. Hey, like this stuff goes a lot deeper than what we're showing, and if you're interested, there's so much more we can talk about. But you don't have to worry about that today. Oh, what's up, Big K?
What's up,
man? Gentlemen, it's good to see everyone. It's quite a panel we have here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're going over the old Crypto Bootcamp that occurred last weekend in North Carolina. These guys put on, and
I remember hearing about it. It's awesome.
Yeah, so we're getting everybody's take on it. We've gotten Freddie and Sloth so far. Rags, man, what'd you think of the weekend? And actually, let me answer Seraph's question here. What's up with the Flora? As I opened the show with, this is the Jill Biden Fashion Depot. So this is where she gets all of her designs for her dresses. Anyway, Rags, tell us about your weekend,
man. I'm so proud of the guys that are on this stream, man, because we like HEXray said, we came from all over the country, and we descended upon North Carolina State University, and it was a cool setup. We had this huge like classroom. There was a projector. We had a whiteboard. So HEXray was doing a really good job explaining like the intricacies of PulseChain and how you get the copies over. And we spent the whole morning talking about the why. And I made the point that there's too many teachers out there that teach you the answers, but don't teach you how to get to the answers. And I hate that. So what we did and what we do with mycryptoclassroom.com, again, it doesn't have anything to do with one specific project or another. It's just a pure introduction, doesn't shill anything, pure introduction to crypto. And we got to go through things step by step. In between the videos, we got people to ask questions. And another thing, and I think these guys might agree, in a selfish way, I've got a more of a sense of confidence after going through that whole process. Like I was talking to Freddie and Sloth and HEXray. I feel like we could do what we did there and take it to any city in the United States and put on a really, really good show. And I think it's awesome that we were able to help people. There's a girl in there. She was a nurse, and she worked part-time at fast food. And on her day off, she's hanging out in there all day long trying to change her life. And we were taking her step by step. And the instruction that she got, quite frankly, most anywhere, any other community online would have charged people $1,000 or $2,000 to be a part of that 8-hour seminar. And we did it for free because we care. And I was telling everybody, I'm like, they think there's a sales pitch coming. They're just waiting for it, right? No sales pitch. Everybody represented this ecosystem very, very well. I'm very proud of all you guys.
To me, the pitch is there is no sales pitch.
There is
You're doing this because you don't need to, in a sense. Like
Right.
you're doing it because you enjoy it, you've benefited from it, and that's the pitch right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredible, man. Incredible.
Can I say something, Cabana?
Just 1 second while we bring up CZ's comment. Loving this panel.
Okay.
Such amazing men in our community, except for Rags. So,
Rags is one of the highest integrity guys. I know she's joking, but I love Rags.
We know
I
she's
got,
joking.
I gotta defend my boy, even if it's a joke. I fucking
We
love
know
it.
she's
Well,
joking.
what she said, she said mint, but she meant except her daddy R2R. She forgot that
There
part.
we go.
That's the important part.
There we go.
Mhm.
And yeah, Crypto Bootcamp Roadshow. I mean, that
Love you,
was 1
CZ.
week. Are there more planned?
I believe that Earl is booking that same site for 60 or 120 days out, and he wants to build on this. So he was selling tickets to some of these people for, I think it was like $100 or $200, and then he ran a buy one get one free because he just wanted to pack the place and cover the costs. And if he would, even if he made, we also put up his Ethereum address during the second stream or the afternoon stream because people were asking, how can I support you guys in putting this together? But that being said, yeah, he's wanting to grow this. And if people paid for like one of the first boot camps, you get a lifetime membership. So you can keep coming back and asking your questions and learning, because this is a lot to take in one day. It's a lot to take in 1 month, you know, depending on where you're at in the crypto journey. So he's opening it up to that and wanting to do more of those. I did want to say Rags is not, he's underselling himself. We went in there with kind of an idea of what was going on. We didn't know if they were going to take charge, if we were going to take charge. And so Rags said, well, I've got, you know, my crypto classroom set up. I've written down some information of where money came from and why this matters. And he stood up and just led the class better than anyone I've ever seen in the 8 years I've been in crypto. Like, he did an amazing job. I was in awe of hearing him go from story and concept to story and concept. And he tied things together in a way that I've never even seen done. So he really shined. I would take Rags anywhere in the country and turn him loose and feel comfortable charging people $10,000 for the stuff that he can put down.
Disgusting.
I think it's worth that. I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying you could see him tweaking and changing things on the spot. And just the fact that these handful of people were willing to let us practice on them.
Yeah.
And because we learned way more about teaching and explaining crypto than they did about crypto. And they learned a ton about crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Rags is he's a superstar.
100%.
That's weird, but we'll just roll. We'll roll with it. It's friggin' weird.
I just can't grow a beard, so I shave it because I look so stupid.
You know what
I
you can
actually
grow
recently
is a mullet.
I found a you know, and they're hard to find, like a razor I actually really like. I found one. I mean, but again, this is just edging. It's just a little edging, nothing.
A little edging, huh?
If you guys want to learn about that, just Google edging, so you know what.
Yes.
Oh,
That's what I was about to.
don't not
What?
okay.
Down, HEXray.
What was the one you told me to Google last weekend, HEXray?
No, I said do not
Docking.
Google docking party.
Oh,
Do not Google that.
I Googled it. I shouldn't have Googled it. I shouldn't have. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I actually Urban Dictionary'd it. I was like, oh, this is disgusting, bro.
This is where we have both the informal and informative. So we tell
I
you what
mean,
not
it's,
to
you
Google.
know, it's informal, but it is strangely informative. You know, that is true. I mean, and you might not need this information or even want it once you know what you have.
But you have it. You don't need it
Or
or
you
want
want to
it,
know
but you
what
have
kind
it.
of
welcome.
information you don't want. So, yeah.
It's funny you say I could grow a mullet. My son, we have a family. They are Hexicans, and they've got 3 sons around my son's age, and we hang out with them, and they're big into hockey. And they all have mullets. One of them's 4, one of them's 6, and one of them just turned 9. And they're diehard Caps fans. They're season ticket holders, and they all their boys have mullets. And ever since our son's been hanging out with them, he's like, I want a mullet, I want a mullet, I want a mullet. So today we finally cut his hair and let him have a mullet. So it
nice.
has started. Yeah,
That's awesome.
My
No,
3-year-old is rocking the mullet.
He's got to learn early that I learned this one the hard way. That I joined a team. I made it to I made it on a team when I was younger. I used to have even when I was younger, I was a kid. I had I played a lot of hockey myself, and
Cool.
I made it on a team. It was like a USA team. We played over in Europe and shit. I was young, and they made me cut my hair, and they're like mullet does not fly.
Oh,
And I was like, are you shitting me? That's what I said too. I was like, it's hockey, man. But I had to cut it for the team, man. It was a big bummer, heartbreak to me.
Did it for the boys.
I did it for the boys.
For the boys.
Yeah.
For the
Ducks
boys.
fly together.
That's right.
Yeah,
Quack.
Big K's a team player.
Quack.
Quack.
Quack. Quack. Quack.
Big K, have you checked out Letterkenny? The hockey players on Letterkenny, that show?
I've heard of it. Somebody actually had just you're the second person in not even a week that said something about it. So I'm gonna write it down and go check that shit out.
It's pretty damn
definitely
funny.
watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a watch. There we go. Oh man. What else is going on here? So Big K, well, we got you, man. Welcome. And
Bro, what a good time to be alive in the
I
Hex.
know.
You know?
Like
It's cool.
How
It's
cool
stuff.
is it to see a Melv Tony update in the
Yeah,
chat
there he
with
is.
Look at
Hex
that.
over
Feels
4
great.
cents, not 3. I mean, we just went straight.
Yeah,
to
I
4.
thought we'd be talking early this morning. I got up and I was like, we're going to be talking about 3 cent Hex today. And then now that changed quick. That changed real quick. It feels reminiscent of times past. This is great. I get to do it all again.
all again with
Mhm.
everyone old and new. So
Mhm.
Do you think
How
we're
about-
out of the bear?
Do
That
I
was a
think we're
topic.
out of a
Go
bear?
ahead.
Oh,
that's
sorry.
a good.
no, that's
That's a
Perfect.
good question.
Perfect.
I mean, if you want, we're in a straight parabola right now that's just rocketing upwards at the moment. So it's hard to say when you make these fucking insane moves one way or another, to extrapolate out how long they're gonna, how many people are gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, holy shit, my hex bags, I want to sell some. I don't know. I've no, what I mean, that's all part of it. I mean, we've made a couple higher lows, but we need to if you want to be let's get some solid confirmation, let's retake 5 cents and let's really feel confident over that and retest it. That would make me feel all right, this game is back, because we've had, it would be, if we retook 5 cents, it would be the strongest upward momentum that we've had, even in direction and size than what we had throughout October, November. And when we had the pump before that, even wasn't, I don't know if it'll feel as percentage wise as epic, like the one way back in July, when we went from what was it, around 3.5, 4 cents, was it almost, we were 3.5 all the way up to, 7 cents. The 1.4 up to 5-6 cents will be a bigger percentage wise move, so that'll really, it'll start to really make some non-believers believe. So that's cool. That's really what I'm looking at. I mean, you know how it always feels when you go up very fast, quickly. You're always pins and needles for a little bit here.
Well, that's how it happens though. Sometimes it's you hit these levels, and Jenkins and I talk about this, and then once you finally bust through, you get an air pocket. And the way, I haven't really looked honed in on the hex chart today, but the way Tangent talks, I mean, isn't 5 cents kind of the next level that he's talking about? And he was so confident in it that he's bro, I will do a stream from 3.5 to 5 cents.
They were just talking about this in spaces before.
The liquidity the pocket of empty liquidity up there, is that
after 5.2 cents, there's nothing. We just see moonshot. I mean, obviously, people will start to move the liquidity.
People will move, yeah, for sure. But I mean, the nice thing is that there's low liquidity now, relatively speaking, and if we can handle these levels well, and people just start to come back in and see gains to be made, then yeah. 5 cents, man.
5.2, I think, would then become the support, is what they were saying. If we can get over it,
if we can flip it,
yeah,
because then all the people that have orders that are sitting there have gotten filled. They've gotten what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Is this true from the Zenologist that DO2 is buying again?
That's funny.
If Dopey is buying again, that is just hilarious.
I mean, you know, there's, I mean, some wide speculation on this on both sides. You know, I mean, its dead address has done some of the dumbest shit around. I mean, it's dumped into its own TWAP. It's, you know, it's just mercilessly sold at possibly all the worst places. You know, I mean, if there's somebody for the, you know, making a claim for the I wouldn't say benevolent, but the purposefully stupid, the Jar Jar Binks of fucking hex addresses over here. I mean,
Yes.
I think we might have found it, you know.
He's the guy that sells the low to give everybody else the value, and then buys back the higher to pump the price up.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your service, sir.
Would you call him the
Emotional.
Jim Cramer of hex?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that you know, because like we've seen when people have deciphered some of these people's maneuvers, you know, there's a lot of people, there's several sharks and or dolphins that are, you know, that they don't exhibit you know, the skill level of others, you know, like the way that they sell, the way that they move around things. So it's always interesting to wonder, you know, I had a friend in school that failed a year in school so poorly that I was doing the math with his teachers that like this kid had to study the right answers to get this bad of grades. You know, you can't just Christmas tree tests this badly. So like, is this guy purposefully just throwing it just to be benevolent, or is he legitimately this poor at trading?
Is he a legit dope?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with either. You know,
Yes.
let's be perfectly honest. I'm cool with either.
Either way, thank you for your service.
Yeah. I hope for his sake, he's like, you're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. You know, like.
And for anybody in the chat who doesn't know, this is just a histogram of the current USDC liquidity. So the higher the bars is, there's like the more liquidity there is at that specific price range. So it's like you can think of it, the higher the bar, like the harder it is for price to move. The lower the bar, the easier it is for price to move.
Who put this in the trading view? I want to shout them out too.
Yeah, let me look it up because it was a very specific person, and I feel bad that I don't know who it is off the top of my head.
What's the indicator called? The LP? That's not it, is it? LP 205200?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just let's see.
Okay,
Indicators is called MBAM. Let me look up his Twitter.
Yeah, I think it might have been Gold Key. I'm not sure. Maybe I could be wrong. But yeah, I'd love seeing that in traditional market charts, and to have that on a crypto chart is outstanding.
It's really good. I'll search for his Twitter a little bit later.
That's fine.
But yeah, that's the thing. And then so it just overlays the USDC liquidity pair against the price chart, so you can see like where liquidity is in relationship to price, which isn't always exactly obvious when you're looking at it on Uniswap. And so here, everything lower than the current price is pretty much just USDC, and everything above the current price is just HEX. And so as the price goes up, people are taking HEX out and putting USDC in, and as it's going down, people are putting HEX in and taking USDC out. And so basically, you know, this is the last little bit of resistance that we have here above the current price before we get into this low liquidity zone where price can just rocket in either direction. So really, this is the last chance for people to accumulate HEX at this price range, which is, let me see if we can get, which is between 4.1 cents and 5.4 cents without eating too much slippage. I don't know exactly how much HEX it is off the top of my head because I don't have that up right now. But basically, if price goes into here, it's just violent swings to the upside and even to the downside too. And anybody doing those trades in this range is going to eat a lot of slippage. Keep in mind, this can all change. Liquidity can be added and removed, you know, just as fast as somebody can click a buy and sell button. So this is just a snapshot of the current period in time. But yeah, we got a lot. And we're currently even a little bit in a low liquidity zone right here versus like, you know, this wall, this sell wall and this bid wall. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's a great indicator. A great just a way to put some context into the why price is moving the way it is and like where price can move more violently in certain price ranges than others, as well as where are good chances to accumulate if you're a large player and you don't want to eat a lot of slippage. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's great to see it all on one screen as opposed to having to go to, say, like another Uniswap site and visualizing the liquidity graph and then be like, okay, and then looking back at the chart and be like, okay, here are the levels. It's all right there for you. So I absolutely
if you're really
love that
interested
chart.
in learning that stuff, in the Icosa Telegram chat, Hexecutioner has been doing a lot of really long, basically lectures about liquidity, how price moves, and kind of how to read these charts. And it's been 100% free. So go to Deft Thought. I'll pull up the YouTube channel. Let's see, Deft. Deft Thought. He records all of the Icosa chats. And if you're ever able to catch one live, there's pretty good education there. So I'll throw that in the private chat, and you can throw that in there for anybody interested in learning more about liquidity and how that affects price.
Yeah, it's
CZ, Meatball in the house. Good to see you, Corey. As your first post in chat as an admin, CZ, you have the wrong Corey. the Meatball you're referring to is probably in the gym. Corey, an investor, is definitely not Meatball. My man goes on walks or runs every morning. He posts it on Instagram. So shout out, Corey, man. What's up? Good to have you here, man. OGs are buying it up again. Don't ask me how I know. LOL. I mean, you can kind of see like some of the values that are going in. Had like a 15 million hex buy today, which is absolutely crazy.
That's super cool. I like it. Buy more. We're doing it, man. We're doing it. It's it's a beautiful thing. I was thinking about how just even the indicator that we were just showing on TradingView, how you could tell we're still pretty early to whatever level we want to take it, the crypto game in general, or that's a little bit further past, like, or not that early to that, but like just in general, using Ethereum is still tricky. You're still watching gas fees and modifying for that and all that kind of thing is still like a present concern, and I don't feel like in the future it will be as much. I mean, and then in like Hex, you drill down to Hex. I mean, I can remember to find all the different stats that are now on a TradingView add-on, plugin, whatever. You used to have to go to 2 or 3 different sites and check liquidity in a few different places to be able to, match it up with whatever charts you're working with to even get yourself a competent. I mean, just in general, just in when Hex started, there was no even way to look at the little calendar when you were making a stake. You had to count your days. You're like, I don't know how many fucking days. Seeing the progress over the time has been fantastic. So I still think we're pretty early in the sense that there's still, there's still the nuts and bolts. People have to really give a shit to know what they're looking at and to care about these kinds of things. If you do, definitely I recommend people continue to listen and get the information and pick up as much as they can, because eventually I think a lot of this stuff is going to be a lot more user friendly. I still feel like it's not that user friendly.
As long as we can get Al Bundy out of the shoe store and stop selling shoes in this bear, we'll know we've actually gotten into a bull market. So yeah, man. Hey, Big K, that little chair over your shoulder says highest of stakes on it. What's going on with that whole process, man? Can you give us any updates? Because community's okay, well, it was maybe Q4 of 2022, and now it's Q1, and then now the way this is going, it's like PulseChain. Is it going to be Q2, 3, 4 more quarters?
I mean, why not just Q1 next year? No, I honestly, I wish I had. Like I said, I'm just about as useful as I was last week. I don't actually we haven't spoken or I haven't grilled for any serious updates.
I had to ask.
No, I mean, fair enough. I am rocking the chair here.
I mean, the chair's right there.
Yeah, it's a very fair question. But no, I don't actually have any further insight on it. But if I do, and when I do, I will gladly share. But I mean, it's cooler if we launch. I think it, the highest the stakes comes out when the price is a little high. It looks like Pulse's, these updates look good. I like these updates we're getting. We just got one right before we came up. Did we talk about that yet?
No, not yet. It was rather technical in nature, but
I mean, it's still, it's technical, but enough to understand that progress is coming.
To me, those tweets that he keeps putting out, and I'm an idiot. I don't know any of the technical developer side, whatever. There's 16 steps or 13 steps or how many steps, and we're through what, 7 now? So I feel like at the end of this, we'll be very close, if not to live V3. I would think.
Well, so from what I understand, like V3 is live. Like there is a private version 3 testnet that is running, and if you have you've got Geth running a client that's running it right now, as well as the Lighthouse client that's running it currently too. And so what you'll be what he's updating on is the Erdogan or Aragon client. That's a different one that is more suited for block explorers. It helps the block explorer be as efficient and quick and timely and have the right information. So I mean, it's as far as so like that one is the one that they're working on right now. I think once they'll feel more confident offering a
sounding like
public
Mr. Roboto, Big K.
Oh no, am I Roboto? I am sorry.
Now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay. I think that after that comes out, they'll once they're finished syncing that one with the chain that they're already running, they'll feel a lot more confident offering that to the public. Because that was one thing that like version 2B's testnet, the block explorer was mediocre. It wasn't. That was something that they had issues with, and so they were definitely concerned about that. So there is there's a private testnet running, and they're pretty confident showing that they're very close to having a very fast running and competent block explorer for it. So once that, it's going to be hard to reason why it doesn't go public pretty soon after the syncing is completed and any testing that needs to be done is finished. So
I guess that then begs the question of opinion. Once V3 is out there, how long until mainnet? Guesses. Fun speculation.
That really depends on who, I don't know. That depends on who's guesstimate. I think it depends on a lot on who's talking or who's like control of that, in the sense that the people that are developing on it, I'm sure would like a little bit more time than the people that are just investing in it.
30 days. 30 days. That's my guess.
30 days is a good amount of time, I felt like, from the get-go. But again, my estimates have been so piss poor that it's hard for me to
I think everybody's
say things with confidence here.
What if someone finds a bug,
don't say that.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's 100% right. It's totally true. If somebody, because the point of testnets are for people to try and break things, So if somebody is good at breaking things and fucking breaks something, then guess what? We're gonna have to fix that thing, and hopefully they didn't break something really crucial, So, I mean,
any other thoughts?
I still really love the. I said May, but I didn't tell you what year. I still love that movie.
Okay. I still say May of this year, so we'll see.
Yeah. Are there going to be? Is there any new stuff on V3 that we haven't been told about? Any features or some people speculate?
They have hinted at that kind of thing. They have hinted at that kind of thing a few times over now, both developer and Richard, that there may be some sort of, you'll be excited for some surprises or something of how they've kind of let it be. Whatever surprises these
Some people were speculating on a wallet, but I mean, don't you think that Richard would time that as a sacrifice at some point?
You would really be. I mean, you got to look at, in my mind, if you're squeezing blood from a stone at this point in time, what is the point of this? You want to launch these sacrifices when you're going to get the maximum amount of economic input out of people's hands for the best reason.
That's why PulseX was great.
Yeah, and like it said a lot of things. You have the supply sink, which is like, people don't realize it, but that's really what majority of us crypto Wyatt pumps is what it's all about. Is like having proper supply sinks, and like you have this amazing reason for it, and you're getting people's money at what is your prediction on basically the top of things. Which was fantastic. I mean, that's awesome. So like pulling people's money, and like especially when we know that these SAC wallets already have funds on hand, like they're not. That neither of the sacrifice funds that are there, they're not hard up for money. So like it's not like you need the money. The community does. It's not like people are trying to buy into Hex as much as they can, but are definitely not. It's like this is a bear market. So I don't think that would be what would happen. I would think that like you'd want to time that out after Pulse is somewhat successful, to be something that is a further supply sink for all of that. PulseX, Hex, whatever people are willing to offer. So that, I mean, but what do I know? Anybody else? I feel like I've talked a lot. Let me turn it over to everyone else for a minute.
Let's turn to somebody who never likes talking. Rags. No, I'm kidding. Thoughts, man. Are you muted?
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, so the first question you asked me or asked everybody was, my thoughts on how long after V3 do we launch, and like Big K said, it's we got to find bugs, we got to find issues. It has to run. If you looked at the GitLab before, man, there were trouble tickets that people submitted left and right, constantly every day, and eventually this kind of dwindled down a little bit with the old BSC consensus code. But I think we're going to see a similar situation with this, where we want to err on the side of longer than shorter. So, in my mind, this would be a 3 to 6 month evolution. I don't think it has to be as long as the old code. And the reason is the Ethereum Foundation has done a lot of the heavy lifting for us and has created that code. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that our systems are intact and making sure that there's nothing weird happening, and we're going to use the community for that. So I really think of this as more of like instead of a V3, it's kind of like a V1 for the ETH 2.0 fork, but I don't think it'll take as long to get to mainnet.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah. V1 for the ETH 2.0, because it really is, a lot of it is, these are going to be new issues coming up. This is So yeah, you're right. I think 3 months is. I love the month estimate. I'm all about it. I want that so bad. But I really think 60 to 90 days minimum is going to be what people are going to really want. And then if there's and that's if there's not a fucking issue.
Right.
There's zero bugs. 60 days.
I like this out of Academaciated, if I said that right. May the 16th. Hey, great minds. Question from Jordan. If there is already a V3 private testnet, why does it take all this time to sync everything and release to public? Could all this just be prep for mainnet? I mean, I know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The syncing is just for this particular type of client. So like there's the testnet's probably running on 2 other clients as we speak. I think they were even talking about a third. I think they're talking 4 in total. I remember Richard mentioning 4. I don't remember in a tweet, but they still need, once they have this third one synced, which has importance for the, like I said, for the block explorer, then I mean I think that'll be ready for the release to public. Could it be for the mainnet? You're totally right. Yeah, but like I just don't think that people can properly do bug discovery without a working block explorer. I think that's going to really important piece of this for people who aren't at code level to offer any sort of input into this.
And there you have the answer. Well, Tony, keep them coming. 4.13 cents. Like
Yeah.
it, like it. Social impact, tech sailing. Good to see you. Good to see you. Lights out. So yeah, we haven't talked about this, and we'll probably do more of an in-depth show on this in the next coming weeks. But no, we haven't covered it. What do you think about the PulseX backed stable? For I guess that's Power City.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
thoughts on that, Rex?
The first thing I asked when I saw this, I messaged Jesse and I'm like, "Hey, dude, did you call CC over at Liquid Loans or what, man?" He's like, "Yeah, man, just got off the phone with him. We're cool. We're cool." I'm like, "All right, cool."
All
So,
all as well.
I mean, here's what's important, right? Here's what's important with layer ones. The infrastructure is in place. That's very important. And then you want a depth of liquidity. Okay, you want redundancy and depth of liquidity. And quite frankly, you know, we're not clear on the stable options. We've got LUSD, and then now we're going to have this. I don't think it's a bad thing at all for redundancy and for thickness of liquidity and just being able to have more options, also with yield as well. So the stable problem is a problem that needs to be solved, in my opinion, like more so than just about everything else, other than a nice exchange, which we have. That's an issue. So I like it. But however, I'll tell you this, guys, I haven't done a deep dive into it. So my opinion about how it operates, don't take, just take it with a grain of salt, right?
Yes.
I like it.
It's fun. Yeah, I like it too. I mean, I will say I imagine there to be more volatility on PulseX than Pulse, you know, and that might make things interesting for those at putting themselves in any sort of risky position. And that's what I think people should be aware of. But I'm all for it. I mean, like, I think it's super cool.
Yeah. I think what's going to be interesting is the ARB that's going to take place between the two stability pools. So, like, there are going to be two ways to single side stake stable coins backed on each of these platforms, and each of them are going to have their own independent APY. And so, because obviously, you know, the risk of both of these platforms is theoretically the same because they're the same protocol. The two assets are, like, you know, probably of the assets that are the most, like, quote unquote secure, those are two of the three, with Hex being the third, right? So, like, it's something that's going to have deep liquidity that you're going to be able to healthily run these protocols on top of. And so, because a lot of things are the same, yet we're going to have different APYs, it's going to be interesting to see how the stable coin yield equilibrates between the two, because it's like, if you can get 10% over here with stable coins versus 8% over here, all the money is going to go to the 8%. But then as money flows over, they get out of the lower yield one, which bumps up the yield because less people are participating. So then it, like, oscillates between the two. So, like, I haven't thought through exactly how that's going to play out, right? But I think that dynamic is really interesting, as well as how those two coins will be tied together via liquidity and any arbitrage opportunities that exist between them, as well as the arbitrage between the coins, and then going out between, like, the arbitrage between the respective stable coin and its base token, either Pulse or PulseX. So it increases the complexity a lot, and, like, all of the different mechanics, which is, like, you know, what I love the most. So I'm excited about it to think through it all and see different ways you can take advantage of it from a yielding perspective.
And speaking of coins that are related to one another and ARB and all that, I mean, you've done plenty of work on Icosa and Hedron. You have look into hedron.com right there.
Yeah.
You want to give us a little peek at that and walk us through that?
Boom.
Man, it is.
All right.
These charts look super cool to just click through, guys. It is.
Right? It's great seeing some green candles finally.
Yeah.
Some real green candles.
We've sat
Yeah.
through many months without them. So days
Yep.
like this, and even last Friday, I think, or whenever it was great. Or 2 Fridays
Yep.
ago. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's been a vertical hex candle like this since what, March 9th, 2022.
Yeah, this
Right,
is my
yeah.
this is my site, guys. Look into hedron.com. Basically, if you guys saw, I had, like, a public Google spreadsheet with a bunch of calculators, and I took those, put them on a website just so it's easier to use. You're not typing in a bunch of cells and figuring out what's all going on the spreadsheet. And so I have 3, 6, 7 calculators. The first one, the first two are mood math based on Hedron and Icosa ceiling prices. So like, you know, if you put in a hex price and say like a T-share rate, 26,000, this will calculate the Hedron ceiling price at those given endpoints, and then it'll calculate different discounts based on that ceiling price. So you can get awesome. A range of expectations on where price of Hedron and Icosa might be given the hex price and a T-share price. And so, you know, it's important to note that, you know, price is derived from supply and demand within the context of liquidity. These are just the numbers that are derived from the functions in the smart contract. So it's not like it's not prophetic in any sense of the word, but it's like a measuring stick you can use to be like, okay, if we think hex can be $1 and the T-share rate is going to be at least 26,000, here are some potential prices we could see on Hedron at that given period of time. And maybe it helps you decide if, given that hex price and T-share rate, is it a good time to buy? Because the what's the word I'm looking for? The intrinsic formulas are saying this is its current valuation. So yeah, at $1 hex, we're looking at about, you know, 1/10 of a penny Hedron at the ceiling price, if that's what it is. But even 90% off, that's 3 zeros and a 1. So I think we're all doing pretty well, even if it's 90% off at that point. Icosa, same thing. We'll do $1, 26,000, and we're looking at, you know, let's refresh. And so all of this, I also have these live stats here, just pulling straight from the blockchain and deck screener for your reference. 26,000. Let's see, what do we got here? We got $36 Icosa at the ceiling price. And it looks like we're, that'd be crazy, right? It looks like I think we're about like 30% off, 40% off. So even at 50% off, if Icosa is underperforming hex by a couple percent, then it's still like $18 Icosa.
That's crazy.
At $1 hex, which, you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad if we get to that high. Okay, so this is my favorite calculator, and this is the good HSI deals. So what this does is it pulls the six stakes on the liquidation auction that are about to end the soonest. And if you click on it, it'll run all the calculations on whether or not the current bid is a good deal relative to the different ways to value the stake. So the two ways to value it are the underlying Icosa as well as the cost to make the stake today. So it's like, is the value of the Hedron worth more or less than the Icosa you can get if you sold the stake back? And is that Hedron worth more or less than if you bought hex off the market and staked it for that same length of time? And so for this first stake, we'll see that it's actually going for a premium of about $33 to the Icosa and $24 to the cost to make the stake. Let's see if we can find a juicy one around here somewhere.
This is super cool. I like this. I was doing all the math for a while. It was very difficult early on to do all this.
Yep. So this gives you the 6 most recent ones. Now, I will say there is a bug I got to work through, and that these lost ones are still showing up. So I need to figure out how to filter through them. But if you want, you can just end them, and it'll filter them out, and then you can get to the stakes that you want if you need these calculators for it. And then what's also cool, this button right here, if you click it, it'll bring up the wallet of the person that made the most recent bid. So you can see who you're bidding against, and kind of like, you know, from
it's so wild that you. I was gonna say, you definitely don't. That's not how auctions normally go. You usually can't see the other person's wallet you're bidding against.
What do you have?
Everything's on the blockchain.
Ammunition depot.
So yeah, this is and every time you click it, it refreshes the data and pulls it directly live. So when you click it again, it'll recalculate it, and if you click this refresh data, it'll get all of the auctions again. So it's live data every time you click the button, pulling it directly from the blockchain. Yeah,
super cool.
And, this one's a liquidity calculator. Basically, all it is it calculates the ceiling price of Icosa at 2 different T-share rates. So it's really great with hexfire.io if you want to go and project a future T-share rate with this chart. And then it autofills the current T-share rate, but you can change it if you want. Let's say we want to provide liquidity between 26,000 and 30,000 hex the T-share rate. This will pull up the hex per Icosa ceiling prices at those ranges. So then you can set liquidity bands at those ranges, and it does that for you automatically. So this would be a single-sided liquidity position because the T-share rates are higher than what it currently is at now. So you'd just be putting in Icosa at these specific rates. Yeah. Let's see. This one, if you just put an HSI address in here and you click calculate, it'll give you how much mintable Icosa. That one's not that big of a deal. It's just I was testing out pulling data from HSIs, and this was just an easy thing to build once I had that data. iShares. Have you guys heard of iShares yet? Anybody?
No, tell us.
No?
Tell.
Okay. So iShares are basically a way to value your Icosa bag in T-share terms. I have some slides on it I can pull up to show like how that math works. But basically, you know, you can value your Icosa via the HSI buyback formula. So you can price each Icosa that you're getting in terms of hex when you sell that HSI for Icosa. And if you just take the amount of Icosa that you have in your personal bag and divide it by that number, the output is just in terms of T-shares. So by dividing your amount of Icosa by the current rate that the HSI buyback formula has, you're valuing your Icosa bag in terms of T-shares. And I've just coined that valuation iShares. So it's like, you know, if you have, let's say, 20,000 Icosa, you know, that's the equivalent of having like 84 T-shares. And these are max length T-shares. So 5555 T-shares. So yeah, that's I like this metric because it's a good way of valuing your different hex ecosystem tokens within the common asset that gives them all value, which is the T-share. And it can kind of help you allocate capital. It's like, hey, if I can get like 10 more iShares versus if I just put this money into hex, you know, maybe you want to take on that extra risk to get extra valuation on your bag. It's a way to do portfolio management and risk management, portfolio allocation. It's just a different paradigm and metric to use while considering all of these options. And then the last one is Icosa yield from Hedron. So if you put any amount of Hedron in, let's do a billion, 53, and then you put in any Hedron day, it automatically updates the current day, and it'll tell you how much Icosa you would have yielded on that day. So you can go and backtrack a little bit on like, hey, if I had a billion Hedron, how much would I have yielded on these specific days?
How about what was it, Tuesday or whatever it was this week when that what was 119 billion Hedron got burned?
That was I want to say it was like not even 2 days ago. Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah. Let me see what day. So I need to get a scale up to show this stuff on my site. But hexmodel.com is really great to use in tandem with these calculators. And let's see if we can see the day. So it was this day. That's staked Icosa. Icosa yield is probably this day. So that was day 341. Yeah, that sounds right. 341. Mm-hmm. Oh, gotta put in the Hedron. And you would have got 15 Icosa per billion on that large burning of that 1,000 plus T-share HSI.
Hey now.
And so this is just a good way to plan your staking strategy with how much you need, how much you can expect, and kind of back test things a little bit too. Yeah. And then, you know, if you want to support me, there's a tab for that as well. So yeah, that's lookintohedron.com, guys.
Shout out to Sloth.
Good job.
Thanks for building.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well done.
Appreciate
Build
that. Expect much more to come, more calculators. I still got to build out my Hedron Advanced Risk Management calculator, and I got some charts with like the iShares that I want to be putting together. So this will just be an ongoing work of mine as I have time to build things out. That's what I'll be putting them. Anything related to Icosa Hedron. I'm proud to say I snagged that domain day 3 after Hedron launch. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to use it or not, but you know what? I'm going to get it just in case. And here it is.
And here we are.
Guys, I've got nojab.com available if anybody wants to buy it.
Funny enough, I was in a chat and someone was like, I just tried to buy lookintohedron.com and someone already bought it. And I was like, yeah, I know who did that.
Well done.
That's
well
my site.
done.
Very good.
Good stuff, man.
Good job, man.
Appreciate it.
That's amazing. And can I point out real quick, when Sloth was putting this together, he reached out to a couple other community members. And in most places on the internet, or when someone's trying to get a project going, they'll just tell you to go pound sand if you want help with something that could be seen as a competing project. But what was your reaction? What was your response from the people in the community that also have websites?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because I need to give a huge shout out to Dipcatcher, Dev Huey, Crispy Man. All three of those guys were just like an incredible resource, and obviously Alex too, for creating all the resources for me to be able to query data from the blockchain easily. So those three guys really helped me out being able to put this site together. But all of them very responsive in DM and my Crypto Sloth Telegram chat that I have. Like anytime I needed a question answered, they were there helping me out. Dipcatcher with how to use Anvil.works, which is the same thing that he used to build all the Maximus sites. Dev Huey on help on querying data from the blockchain, as well as Crispy helped me a lot with querying data from the blockchain. So as much as I did the work and everything, like those three guys, I couldn't have done it without them. And like HEXray was saying, it definitely speaks to the community when you can reach out to high level technical people to help someone like me who's just a noob who just can write some basic Python stuff to be able to put this together for the community. So shout out to those guys for sure.
Excellent. Good stuff, man. Thank you so much. What is up? Crypto King, Matty Allen's in the chat, just saying hello to lots of folks. I saw Serena in here. Black Hexkin is here. So a bunch of the OG gang. What's going on, ladies and gents? Coming up, we're past an hour now, but we have some pretty good questions. I'll just throw these out there while we get a price update from Meltoni. Whoever wants them, speak up and feel free. First one from Yannick Caldville. What are your thoughts on deploying PulseX, the DEX on ETH? We've had this question before months ago, actually. I think we talked about it with Motley. The reasoning with the Uniswap updated router contracts, you could have buy and burn on 2 chains, less supply because bridged.
I don't know, man. That's kind of difficult to say. It really does deploy. It depends, in my mind, on the amount of available liquidity. PulseX is going to be really successful, quite frankly, because of how much money is able to be deployed to PulseX on PulseChain immediately. The interesting thing too, if there is a bridge on the Ethereum side, if PulseX were to launch, are people going to, are they going to arbitrage the difference in price between the PulseChain side and the Ethereum side? That's also something that pops into my mind. But then will that devalue the PulseChain side or increase the value of the Ethereum side? Is there going to be parity? I don't know, man. I would maybe at some point it might be a better optimized version of the DEXs that are on Ethereum now, maybe, but I would just wait to see. I would see how it performs with PulseChain and kind of move from there.
I personally don't see much of a point to it. Honestly, if you do it more and the sacrifice set gets coins, more coins, free money, I'm not going to complain about it.
Big K likes more coins, free coins.
Yeah. I do love more coins.
I love more coins. I love free coins. And so from that perspective, I'm all for it. I just there's so much competition with Uniswap. I don't see much of the point, or where I just personally don't have the vision on where the liquidity is going to come from for the DEX to have any kind of significant volume. But I would love to be proven wrong about that. I could see it more as an aggregator, like a DEX aggregator called PulseX, and then the fees taken from that went to the buy and burning the token, like forking CowSwap, calling it PulseX. But that's a whole different thing than what PulseX is. So it wouldn't even. That's not the question.
Next from Michael Light, how will the HEX derivatives affect the price of HEX on PulseChain? Will people look to buy HEX even on PulseChain? It seems fairly saturated with the fork. Just a thought. Derivative Sloth, any take on that?
I've heard Sloth talk about this. No, Sloth should. He's talked about this quite a bit.
Yeah, sure. So let me see. So how will they on PulseChain? So it's going to be the same as on Ethereum. So if you just look at the way that the coins have interacted with each other on Ethereum, I think you can have a pretty good idea on how it's going to work on PulseChain. The major difference that we're going to see on PulseChain versus what we have on Ethereum at this moment is all of these different what's what I'm looking for, collateralization platforms that the Fiat and Famous crew are building out. And so that leverage option does change the dynamic a bit, as well as the leverage options that you're getting with the liquidity forks for liquid loans and for PulseX. So like we don't have these leverage options on Ethereum, and that changes the dynamic of hex price, which naturally changes the dynamics of the derivative prices because the derivatives are naturally tied to the thing it's derived from. And so as we get these DeFi plugin platforms, I think probably it'll amp up volatility to a degree we haven't seen previously. And then the derivatives also get that extra utility and that extra volatility as well. Will people look to buy Hex even on PulseChain? Yeah, I think so. I think the general knowledge for that is that the lower the people with less money, to people who are able to eat the gas fees on Ethereum because it's not economically viable to be able to start staking and end staking will naturally go into PulseChain. As well as, you know, the PulseChain Hex is like the quote unquote official Hex. Like that's what Richard Hart calls Hex. And then Hex on Ethereum is eHex. So like from a meme mimetic standpoint, like people will want that because that's the quote unquote real Hex. And then like, yeah, it is saturated, but I think Hex, the value proposition of Hex stands well enough on its own to compete with all of the different tickers, both building on top of it as well as around it and even competitively against it. There you go. There's my answer.
There you go. Well thought out and articulated. CZ.
I think as a side to that, if we're talking derivatives, because there's another set of derivatives that we kind of didn't speak on, and that's the I wouldn't call them true, but like the direct hex derivatives, like your Maxi and that, like all that system of things. And I believe personally, I mean, like you can see it in the chart right now, you know, that like a lot of those derivatives will nearer to the fork we go will perform worse. But this is just my opinion. It's because people like liquid hex is, you know, for whatever value you're going to use it for, whether it be putting it into those other platforms or just having it for the fork. There's more of a utility in having, you know, liquid available hex as opposed to a token that represents a 10-year stake or a 7-year stake or a, you know, I mean, some of them, what's the one that have in front of me right now? Deci, for instance, is like in price and hex is down to 84% of a hex, you know. That's pretty low comparatively to where it was at, you know. And I mean, and I think that those narratives that will shift after PulseChain's launch. And I think that in the longer term, as we get closer to some of those dates, you know, the 3-year, the 5-year, whatever dates that they each have, I think that they'll get a lot closer to parity, if not trade at a premium. But for now, as we run up into the fork, it feels like those might continue to underperform.
Well, we're even seeing that what you just said now. So Base and Trio, the two shorter perpetuals, they're trading pretty much 1-for-1 at Hex, and then Trio is like a 2% premium. It's fairly negligible. But Lucky and Deci, the two longer ones, the 7-year and the 10-year one, are trading at, you know, a 13 and a 16% discount relative to Hex, and that's like 1-to-1 Hex, not even the Hex that it's accrued over time. So you're seeing the things that end sooner have less of a discount, and the things that are ending later have more of a discount, which is exactly what you were saying.
Yep, exactly. And that's not to say that they're not like I said, I understand that, like when we were talking about value propositions of Hex on either chain, it's super important to note that like I get that there is a significant advantage to having if you have Maxi versus a 15-year stake. If you started at the same day, there is a significant advantage to unstaking all those coins at once and distributing them versus paying the gas fee yourself. You know, like those are going to, on Ethereum side, without sharding, and even with sharding and increased popularity in the network and shit, you know, like those are going to be expensive stakes to unstake, you know, down in the future. So that you know, that's something to consider. That's why I do think that there, you know, just like any good derivative product, there should be premiums and discounts all along the way, and the market will vary, you know, change their belief on them based on the narrative and the macro, you know. So just something to think about. That's, like I said, is we it's a whole, like, I feel like there's very different versions of derivatives with Hex. You know, you've got we got Hedron and Icosa, and even communist to another degree, you know, and then you've got
coin.
and then you've got the Hex derivatives that are like more like, you know, like they're stakes derivatives, you know, like the Deci Lucky base and all that. I mean, super interesting. I mean, all of it's awesome. I mean, like I said, more coins, especially free ones, are super cool.
What's up, Serena? What's up, Vets in Crypto?
That's going to be one of the best things about this bull run. Like last bull run, I literally, when Hex came out, I dumped everything I had into Hex. And it's like everything that I've always been told not to do. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And it worked out, and it was fun to watch it run all the way up. But this time, like even just from the free coins that we've gotten, and the fork or the PulseChain, like there's going to be like 10, 12, 15, 20 different tickers we're going to be watching. So it's going to be like 10x, 20x the gains that we're going to see just because we have 10 or 20 more coins to be watching.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of different narratives for each of them to
insane.
exist too. So like different people that understand different parts of the market, you know, will be interested in each one of these products in different ways. You know, I think that's you can't discount any of them, and you have to appreciate, like I said, all the ones that I feel like that are directly derived from, or, you know, resulting in, you know, Hex's price movement, and are things that like you're going to be excited to be holding on to.
Yes. Wrapping up some questions here. CZ, according to the CPI report, this week is a fake pump, and next week everything will dump. What do you guys think? This is my first bear, still learning. I think I'll just take a stab at it. What the market reacted to today was pretty much two parts. Like Jerome Powell in his speech a couple days ago cited the job numbers as kind of like being like the last main thing that they're looking at in terms of raising rates. And this morning we got a very healthy jobs number, so that kind of pushed the last rate cut possibly from next month. Possibly maybe one more until May. So if everybody was thinking that rates would be done, or rates would be done being raised, next month, that got pushed maybe another couple months out, and I think that was like a lot of the reason for the dip there. So I think the jobs number is what you want to be looking at the start of each month, just because he flat out said that that's one of the main things that they're looking at. Deflation or disinflation, whatever he's calling it, that's occurring. It's really just comes down to jobs. Just keep an eye on the jobs numbers. Matty Allen, who is this guy? Why is Ray Dalio so obsessed with Hex? Is it because he's smart or a time traveler? Yeah. I saw that video, and I know Hexkins got excited about it. I saw a lot of talk about it on Twitter. It's like, he's describing Hex. A lot of it was similar to Hex in what he was saying, but if you listen carefully, he did cite that the one thing he doesn't like is prices going like this, and that's what he doesn't like about Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin does this and he doesn't like that, Hex is a lot more volatile than Bitcoin. So
he doesn't like opportunity.
I know, but I just want to temper some of the excitement, off of that video, because everybody's like, oh, he's describing Hex and an inflationary coin, and yeah, a lot of that, what he said was, Hex, you could fit it right in, except with the price volatility, and he specifically mentioned that. So, you take Hex out of the equation, unfortunately, with that. So if somebody builds another coin, maybe with less volatility, or with some sort of inflation metric, he talked about it. He's like, these things could be built in crypto. I don't know who's going to do it or how the math would work, but he was like, man, that could be like the next big thing in crypto. So cool
They
stuff.
can't build businesses on top of volatility due to the market that they serve. These people can't handle that. So that's what he's talking about. Now, you look at him, you look at what's his face? Who were we just talking about? What's his name again?
Dalio, but I think he was
Dalio.
responding to the 100-year-old Charlie Mungers.
Yeah. Well,
Bitcoin should be banned.
Right. Make no mistake about it, though. You look at him. You look at Jamie Dimon, for example.
Yep.
He's out there trashing crypto every chance he gets, but behind the scenes, they have a DeFi division called Onyx, and they've been snatching up and researching the market for like the past 4 or 5 years. They have exposure to this. Why? All of the centralized platforms have been completely destroyed during this bear market. So they're looking for places to get yield. That's why things like Hex, and that's why I think the trustless stuff, I think the money is going to start piling in this bull run because it survived. It survived and nothing else did. It works. It's been proven better than anything else out there.
Gentlemen, I have to leave you. I just gotta.
We're close to wrapping, man. So good timing. I said 60 to 75 minutes. We're close. You might miss a joke off. Rumor has
it. Wow,
you're not missing anything there.
So this has been a fun and intelligent and enlightening conversation. I learned a few things I didn't want to learn as well. But
don't Google. Okay,
I am not going to. We don't have to recap.
Just don't Google. Stop it.
But I'll for everybody, for you too, Cabana. I'll be gone next week. But I look forward to engaging in more of this, and hopefully the green candles continue.
Yes,
may the green candles continue.
Yep. Good
Fantastic night.
Later, amigo.
Hey, good to see you, BK.
Yes, great to see everybody. Adios.
Crypto King, real quick, made a good point in here too. The State of the Union is on Tuesday, so they're going to want good numbers for his speech, and set up softballs for him to try to dunk on, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what to trust? I mean, we have a spy balloon flying over the middle of the country, and we're not doing anything about it. But you can't trust anybody. It's not even related, but it's also ridiculous, just to show you how much ridiculousness goes on in politics. So, anyway. Yes, have a great week, Big K. Elliot, we're not just done yet. We're not done just yet. Good to see you, Toby Wan, in the chat. Let me just check here, make sure we covered. I think we got everything. We got the Icosa sites, Crypto Bootcamp. Yeah, so just if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, because we've got a lot more viewers now, pretty much this is the Crypto Bootcamp crew that went to NC State University last weekend, and pretty much did like a awesome onboarding session. We talked about that at the beginning of the show, so if you want to hear more about that, go back. They offered all their takes on it. It was just really cool for a bunch of Hexkins to get together and do something like this, and two, to have everybody here talk about it. So thank you guys for your time and coming on and recapping it.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, man, this was a blast. Always enjoyed coming on.
Any one of my favorite parts after onboarding or KSB TV sessions or stuff like that, it's always like the after party or meetup. Any fun stories afterwards, any cocktail sharing, any
sent out some spicy tweets.
Yeah, if you get Sloth spicy, he'll send out some spicy tweets. He's got some cojones.
That was fun.
That was hilarious, me tweeting that and then you getting like text messages like, what's going on?
Yeah, so here's what happened. So Sloth was trying to he's trying to outrage market. All right, so this is his foray into that. So he sends out a tweet. He says the Zen is more expensive than Hedron. Is that what you said?
Zen is worth more than Hedron.
And I'm not even kidding.
I remember seeing that. I was like, what?
I started getting screenshots within 5 minutes of people texting me and be like, bro, what's up with your boy, man? What's up?
It's just so funny coming from all people, coming from me. Just the perfect ironic tweet. And because Zen was actually like the dollar value was more than Hedron. I'm like, this is the perfect tweet. And people were like, what's going on? I was like, this is awesome. I think that
It
tweet
was
got,
like
like,
because
most
Freddie's like,
engagement.
I'll retweet it. I'm like, I'll retweet it. Let's go.
It was fun.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is those are the kind of fun things that happen. It's just like, oh man, what did I do the next morning? You know, I know, Ricky had some of those when we were doing the races and whatnot down in Florida. He would tweet.
I'm proud to say it's no longer true. Hedron is now worth more than Zen. It did it. Way to
What
go.
a shame.
Had some good barbecue too. That was good.
Really good barbecue. Yeah. Something people may not know about Sloth is that he does magic tricks.
Yeah,
Like he had a really cool ring on his finger, and I was like, oh, that's a cool ring. And he's like, what ring? And it just disappears, and then it reappears, and then it's on my hand, good. And I was like, and I wasn't even like buzzed or drunk at this point, so this was too much for me.
I was.
Had I been buzzed or drunk, I would have ran out of there like a brother screaming. Yeah. I would have just ran into the street saying he was a witch. So
next time I'll bring some cards.
Really I did end up giving him my phone number, no homo, because I was just like, you've got the magic. He just know how to get someone's attention. Mm-hmm. So if you get him cornered into a bar somewhere, make him show you some magic tricks.
That's great. I'm just gonna have a bunch of hexagons around me drunk, like do magic, and the next thing you know.
Oh man. Well, it sounds like a good time. I definitely would love to be in your guys' presence next time you're back east or Florida or whenever, man.
Let's do one in DC. If we do one in DC, would you come?
There you go.
I can be there.
Cabana.
Oh, I'm in. So,
yeah. Access is here now too. I know he'd be down for that too.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess that can wrap us up for this week. We've gone over our desired time limit goal. There are no time limits here, but hey, HEXray Vision, did you bring some jokes with you this week? Because we've had some people asking, hey, is the joke off ever coming back? And I know Vince is very busy, but you're a guy that likes to laugh and perhaps has some jokes in his repertoire.
I am silly and I am a dad. So I do get groans from my kids on a regular basis, and I can't fill Vince's shoes because his timing is unreplicatable. But I have brought the jokes to try and share. I hope that people haven't heard these on this show before, but we'll see. If I can get groans and cringes, I'll consider it a success.
Well, hopefully we don't have any duplicates, but we haven't done this in a long time, so it is what it is at this point. So. Yes, jokes are awesome. Depends upon who you are. Some people don't like trivia either, but anyway. All right, so usually we did a best of 7. The audience and our panel here will send them to the green room to deliberate as to who will come out on top based upon the funniness of the joke and or making the other person laugh, which is typically the best part. So here we go.
Am I starting off? I'm the challenger, so I should start off.
Well, do you know how to do the greeting before?
I'm gonna try this. Hey, Cabana.
You're on it. Hey, HEXray.
Hey, what do you call an alligator in a vest?
I don't know.
An investigator.
Yep, that's good. That's very good. I mean, sticking with, I guess, nature jokes. Hey, HEXray.
Hey, Cabana.
Why was the mother firefly not happy?
Why was the mother firefly not happy? I have no clue.
Because her kids weren't bright.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. All right, thank you. Look away.
I'm trying to breathe through this.
Okay.
Hey, Cabana.
Hey, HEXray.
What did the grape do when he got stepped on?
Squished? I don't know.
He let out a little whine.
It's a play on the beverage. Nice. Very good. Very good. HEXray.
Yeah, Cabana.
Earlier today, someone asked me to name 2 structures that hold water. I was like, well, damn.
That was a really good one. It's
Thanks,
too short.
man.
I was waiting for a longer punchline.
Nope.
Okay. Hey, Cabana.
Yeah, man. Yeah, HEXray.
Have you ever been shoe recycling shopping?
I'm not thinking if I have or haven't. I just don't know what that is. No, I have. No.
I'll tell you what, it's soul destroying.
That's so yeah. Good. Hey, HEXray.
Yeah, Cabana.
What do you call security guards working outside Samsung shops?
What do you call security guards working outside Samsung shops?
Yep.
I don't know.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Shout out Freddie Quotes.
Whew.
Took a minute.
Whew. I've had several of those phones. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hey, Cabana.
Yeah, man. Yeah, HEXray.
What do you do when your wife tells you to stop acting like a flamingo?
Put your foot down.
You got to put your foot down. That's right. You saw that one coming.
Yeah. I'd put 1 and 2 together. Made 2 legs. Yeah. Hey, HEXray.
Yeah, Cabana.
I asked my Chinese friend what it's like living in China.
This is already funny. And
he says he can't complain.
That is did you get that one from Rags?
No. I just saw him smile.
Okay, yeah, you definitely got me on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Cabana.
Yeah, HEXray.
What did the drummer name his twin daughters?
I don't know.
And a 1 and a 2.
Yep, that's good. Hey, HEXray.
Yeah, Cabana.
Earlier today, I asked my girlfriend to embrace her mistakes. She gave me a hug.
I saw that one coming. All right. Hey, Cabana.
Yeah, HEXray.
What's the difference between a poorly dressed man on a tricycle and a well-dressed man on a bicycle?
I don't know.
Attire.
Okay. Just going with the common sense jokes now, are we? Okay. Gotcha. Hey, HEXray.
Yeah, Cabana.
What part of the body always loses?
What part of the body always loses? I don't know.
Defeat.
That's clever. That's really clever.
Thank you.
It's because it's the way you said it.
Thanks.
I like that. Hey, Cabana.
These are our last round, by the way. Yeah, HEXray.
Okay, I'm going to switch to this one if this is the last one. My dad died when we couldn't remember his blood type.
Oh, boy. Yeah?
He kept insisting we be positive, but it's hard without him.
Thanks. Good job. I don't know. It sounds weird saying that, but yeah. Okay. Yes, we are pumping price by doing this, by the way.
I hope we get a twin because I got 2 or 3 more that are just horrendous.
I guess this is the last one, right? Okay. Here we go. Hey, HEXray,
Yeah, Cabana.
what do you call a constipated detective?
What do you call a constipated detective? I don't know. I don't know.
No shit, Sherlock.
Oh, that was a killer. That one put a nail in the coffin
I'll
right
save
there.
that to the end there. So yeah. Judges, we lost Rags. He had to go to dinner, but
That was good, man. That was good.
Quality content.
Chat, any winners or we all win or lose?
Yeah,
So,
they were both funny. Let's have a joke off. One more each.
Oh man, I think I ended with my last one.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that was that. We haven't done that in a long time. Yes, that was my strategy, Acid Thunder. But yeah, where are we at in price now? We're going to wrap it up here. HEXray, Crypto Sloth, Freddie Quotes. We'll go around the room. Again, these guys did the Crypto Bootcamp last weekend. We hopefully will get more of these, and I'm looking forward to finding out where the future sessions when literally HEXray drove across the country to do this. So shout out to you.
Incredible.
HEXray, man, where can we find you?
You can find me on my channel, HEXray Vision. On YouTube, we had a killer stream last night with Axis Alive and Kareem and a little guy named Sloth that showed up and mostly just sat and listened. I think he was having his nose and eyebrows waxed because he wouldn't get on screen.
Who's smaller in person, Sloth or RG3?
Oh, definitely RG3.
Okay.
Definitely RG3. Yeah, you can find me there, and then just follow me on Twitter and if you want to get geeky, I've got a Telegram group where we are working on the art and story behind my NFT project, and that's under Anti-Gravity Saga on Telegram. If you need a link, I can send you a link. But where they're getting nerdy and like Brissology and a few of the Hexicans have brought some cool art and ideas to that story. So if you want to geek out, hang out with us there.
I thought it was going to be a no hands HEXray NFT. When you put your hands out like that, they disappeared. So that'd be a cool one. Freddie Quotes out.
How's it going, man?
Where can we find you, sir?
On Twitter, _ Freddie Quotes _ on YouTube, Freddie Quotes. We actually did a steak and bake last week.
I did see that. Like not live, but
our first one of the year. It was random, like the middle of a day on like a Thursday or Friday. Thursday, I think it was. But catch me on Steak and Bake, Twitter, Telegram.
Any set time for the next one?
No, not really.
It just kind of came together last minute.
Yeah, just kind of like I just felt the urge for it, and I hit up Tangent. Or we have like a group chat on Twitter, so I just shot out a message, and Tangent and Big K were like, "Oh, 100%, let's go." And I was just like, "Bet, let's go." Like I think my son was, or maybe he was here. I don't know. Either Amber was watching our kid, or he wasn't here, whatever. So I had some free time and just made it happen. Hopefully, again in the next week or two. Probably not next week. The week after, I think Big K's out of town next week. So, but yeah, man. Hope to do another one of the crypto boot camps. It was fun.
Ton of fun.
Awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Sloth.
Yep.
How you doing, man? Where can we find you? We obviously looked into Hedron.com earlier.
Look into Hedron.com, and this way, Sloth Crypto 3 on Twitter, Crypto Sloth on YouTube. Pretty easy to find me.
And there you have it. There you have it.
Had a great time.
A show full of informal and informative content, whatever you want, telling you what not to Google, and many other things. Go back to the beginning if you want to know what not to Google there.
Don't do it.
There's an age that you get to when someone says you don't want to know what this is, and you start to trust them, and you just leave it with that.
So that'll about do it for us. Hello, Marion, and goodbye, Marion. We'll see you next week. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rags as well. He had to go to dinner. Freddie Quotes, HEXray,
Yeah.
Crypto Sloth, Big K, of course. We'll be back next week. It should be in studio once again. And yeah, looking forward to it. And everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy these pumps while we have them. We don't
Enjoy
know
the pump.
enjoy the pump and all the coins.
few and far
Hedron,
between.
Icosa. Yeah, there's plenty if you're a Hexkin out there. So keep an eye on them and enjoy these feelings, man, because it's been a while. It's been a long time. So this is what it's like. So hopefully more in 2023. Thanks everybody, and we will see you next week. Cheers.